Hello everybody and welcome to the video. My name is Midway and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I want to talk about the best build you can possibly make for Archer in the Legend of Mushroom, which is a pretty damn powerful, probably the best class you can possibly play right now in the game. So I'm just gonna try and make it as simple as possible. We'll start with the spec we're playing, right? So we are playing a Sacred Hunter. Now the difference between Sacred Hunter and Blue Monarch is not too far off, but Sacred Hunter is a little bit ahead right now, as most people are agreeing to, especially because of the the attack damage boost after scoring a critical hit, which is gonna be doing a whole damn lot of damage, as well as playing really well into the stats that we want as a combo and crit based class. Now moving on to skills. So depending on the scenario you're playing, whether you're playing a PvE scenario like bossing or just like doing your campaign or PvPing, you're gonna be wanting a different set of skills, right? So let's talk about the general rule of thumb here. We're gonna be going with a speed surge because of that attack speed by increased by 30%. That is a lot of attack speed and we want a lot of that so we can get more basic attacks out, which also means more combos, which also means more crits, and everything put together means a whole lot of damage. Then we want to be using the coin bomb to increase our basic attack damage by a whole damn lot. Now, as you might have seen here, we're not using the highest tier of abilities just yet, and that is because we are going for the effects rather than for the skill damage. In this case, it's going to be stronger when it comes to just sustain damage, especially when it comes to doing the cave and the whale boss. For PvP and such, it's going to be different, right? So now let's move on to more defensive stuff instead. We're gonna go for Nature's Renewal, which is gonna give us a heal for 30% of our max HP, which is a lot of HP, and it's gonna be really damn strong. You'll see immediately after you use these together with the Shroom Shield, which is gonna give you a shield of 20% of your max HP, you're just gonna be surviving everything a whole lot easier. Now finally, we have a set of choices here. You can go for a very offensive choice here with the Smoke Bomb. Now if you pair the Smoke Bomb with everything else, if the cooldowns line up, you're gonna see your damage just skyrocket. People are gonna die in no time, as well as bosses. It's gonna be increase the damage that the targets receive by 30% if they are hit, of course, and they should. Now there's other choices here. For example, we could go for the Dazzled here for stunning the targets, which is also going to make our life a lot easier, just allowing us to survive a lot more. And then we could also, for example, go for other stuff like Take It Slow to reduce attack speed of the enemy in a PvP scenario, as well as Easy Breezy to reduce the attack of targets. Those are also choices you could make, a lot more powerful in PvP scenarios depending on what you want. But for the sake of PvE right now, I'm either using Smoke Bomb or Dazzled if I am struggling with killing what I am killing, because I'm getting killed first, right? So moving on to pals here, we're gonna go for the following. So first of all, we'll go for the bird here. The bird is gonna be giving us 15% increased attack speed. That is what we really want. We want more attack speed. That means more attacks, as I already mentioned before, and that's the juice we're going for. Now the chicken is gonna give us increased basic attack damage, which is of course going to increase our critical damage, I believe, right? Because it's based off of our critical damage, but it might actually not, so I'm not too sure. But either way, we are really just trying to get as many attacks as possible. This is for sure going to increase our combo attacks, so our combos basically just count as basic attacks, so that also increases the combo attacks. Now some or more stuff we want here. We do want the sprites, so we can get our skills to come up sooner, so we have more of that defensiveness as well as the offensiveness, because the effects are really damn strong. We are also going to go for the cactus because it just does a whole damn of basic attack damage, and that's also being affected by all our stats. And then we could play with different choices here. Now, if we have the banana, we can get extra baseline combo as well as combo damage. Really damn strong. A very good choice here, probably the better one, would be the eggplant, which is going to give us 10% crit rate, so very strong. We could also go for the octopus if we have access to it, of course. Increase combo damage by 60% and also get the extra damage dealt, but that's immortal and I don't have access to it right now. Neither I do to the banana nor the eggplant, so I'm instead going to be using the Mecha Dragon, which is going to increase the critical damage that I am doing, but it's also adding up to the bonus, which is already, you know, a massive pile of bonuses. You could change that for a more defensive approach as well, maybe go for the panda or something else, but I'm choosing these for a little bit more offensiveness. Yeah, it really depends on the scenario you're trying to face against. If you are struggling in PvP, then switch out stuff. For example, switch out the dragon here for something more defensive, as I already mentioned, as well as the skills. Now, moving on to more choices we have here, we have our relics. The main relic here for the green one is going to be the combo one, straight up just the best one we can get out of all the choices here. For the blue one, it's going to be, sorry, the chicken, the gilded eggshell, which is going to be interacting with the chicken, is going to make it throw 5x every 10 seconds, dealing a big bunch of damage. By leveling up this relic, you also increase the total amount of damage you do, or rather the chicken does, so that's pretty damn nice. The blessing do here for increasing the cactus combo rate. The cactus combo rate is also affected by your base stats, so this just means even more combo rate for the cactus. That's why we are using him as well, because he just does quite some damage. On the yellow side of relics here, we are using the boss, increased boss damage. Or rather increased damage dealt to bosses, because it just has the bigger value. In PvP, we would instead use the flame book, because, well, of course, PvP, you're not fighting bosses. And if you are really struggling defensive-wise and you are lacking damage, or you are actually have a lot of damage somehow, if that's the case, which shouldn't really be ever, then you could go for either of the 3 defensive choices. But for the most part, I would just go for these 2 choices, the extra boss damage or just extra raw damage everywhere, depending on whether you're doing PvP or PvE. Then, for the sake of the orange ones, I am using the time statue because I am using smoke bomb, so I increase the duration of the effect. Instead of being 30% increased damage taken by 5 seconds, now it's by 7.5 seconds. I could also be using the energy statue to increase the damage that I do with nature's renewal and the shield. Obviously, those 2 abilities are mainly defensive, and that's why I'm using them, but they also do a little bit of damage. But since they are lower tier, the damage is not really what we're going for. We're not focusing on skill damage either as an archer, so this really shouldn't be a big choice. Instead, you should rather go for this. Or instead, if you're using something like this one, we would also increase the effect of coin bomb. This would also be a very good choice, because of course we're using coin bomb, and its effect is gonna be a whole damn lot stronger. Now, on the case of the red relic, there's nothing we really benefit from using the setup that I talked about. So the choice is whatever. If you happen to have red relics, then go for it, unless otherwise just whatever choice already works. Now, on the side of your stats here, as I already mentioned, we really want a lot of crit rate, because that increases our basic attack crit rate. Combos, of course, gonna make us do more combo. We want more combos because those count as just more basic attacks, which get affected by the crit rate, as well as the crit damage, which we also really want to be increasing by multiple sources. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And after that, we want some stun. Stun is gonna be pretty damn good in every scenario. It's gonna allow us to survive longer. So stun comes very nicely. We don't really want crit damage, or rather skill crit or skill damage. We don't focus at all on those stuffs. Now, moving on to the statue here, which is the last thing we can actually choose. We're going to be going for crit damage bonus, because that's going to affect our crit damage on the basic attacks as well as the combos. And then if we can also go for the combo damage bonus. Those 2 things should be your main choice for everything, for every set of or basically every type of content. If you have 2 sets of 2 pages here, you could also afford to go for a bossing straight up just bossing tab, which would just be focusing on trying on getting the increased boss damage tiers, or rather choices here. If you happen to be able to do so, then going for the increased boss damage is going to be pretty damn nice. But for general rule, just go for crit damage bonus, excuse me, and combo bonus damage. Global attack also kind of works for me, but of course the values are a little bit lower, so I'm just using that because I just don't have too much else I can do with the amount of my fruit offerings that I have. But I will try and get full crit damage bonus as well as combo damage bonus. So that's basically all we can choose when it comes to soul embeddings. Just of course try to get us the best thing you might be able to afford. You can use one of each, and just of course invest in whatever's best. You have crit damage bonus right there, so that's really damn good. Defensives as well, basic attack damage of course really damn good as well, but this is also a whole separate system. There's not a lot of choice right there. So yeah, that's kind of everything that I wanted to cover. Now one thing about these the setup is, it might not always be the best. It is the best when it comes to just straight up doing the most damage, but in PvP scenarios you might again have some choices right there, depending on whether you want to survive a little bit more, or maybe you just want to use a different set of skills mainly, which are going to be making you have the luck a little bit more in your favor whenever you are just PvPing, because you might want to have those stuns. So that's another luck factor. If you stun the enemy, well, there you go, you can use Dazzle. It's not actually luck really, because it's guaranteed a stun, but yeah, those defensive options instead of the offensive options might be better choices in some scenarios. And then for the sake of the campaign, well, sometimes that will also be the case. If you're struggling to survive, then maybe going for more defensive options, because you just have enough damage. Really, you should have enough damage for basically everything using this build as an archer. Then it will really just be a matter of not dying, because yeah, the bosses will just kill you, right? So that if that is the case, then instead maybe you want to switch to a bit more defensive options, as we already mentioned, right? So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Now, before you go, if you're not using Aptoide, you should definitely do so, just because you're going to be getting from a 10% to a 35% bonus on any purchases you make within the Legend of Mushroom, or basically any other game. The way this works is that whenever you try and purchase something, you're going to be prompted to instead use your bonuses you accumulated, or if you are spending your real money, then you would be told about how much of a bonus you are getting. In this case, my bonus is pretty low. It's only of 10%, but you could scale that up, as I mentioned, all the way up to 35% with active events, as well as using my code, which is going to be down in the description. I got a guide down there on how to set everything up on your phone as well as on your PC if you want to do so on BlueStacks. It only works on Android devices. I'm sorry, iPhone users. But yeah, basically you can just get more value for your money, because whenever you make the purchases, you accumulate those bonuses, and then you can use the bonuses to purchase stuff, just like I am showing you right here. You got those credits right there, and then you can just straight up just go ahead and buy that with the credits, and you just get it for free because you didn't actually use your real money. It's also a way of just accumulating sort of like a saving towards the future, a discount in further purchases in the future. I really like it. I've been using it for a little while, and I think it's a really good damn idea if you're investing in any sort of way in this game or any other mobile game, right? So let me know any questions you might have down in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye, see ya.